Hi there, my name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is July the 31st, and this is an impromptu live stream about the Core OS 3.0 update for Quad Cortex. I've been talking about it a lot on the channel, so I thought I'd go live and give my initial reaction. I'll do a quick demo, go through some of the things they've added, and give my thoughts on the direction they're taking the Quad Cortex. I saw the Quad Cortex at NAMM, I think it was 2019 or January 2020. It's been around 4 years, maybe longer. Someone would let me know in the chat, I'm sure. As I was saying when I was garbled earlier, it feels like a long time, and it doesn't feel like a long time. It's weird. But I have mixed opinions and thoughts on this product because ever since I got one, I really liked how it sounded, and I've always really liked the form factor. So with these modelers, when you've got a big modeler that weighs 15 pounds, like another product, or even 10 pounds, anything that's hard to carry around, I always think to myself, why not just use a small pedal board and an amplifier? I don't have many needs for this stuff. I always liked the idea of the Quad Cortex being so small and light and portable, and you can have 4 inputs. You can use it as a small mixer. You can plug in a voice, 2 voices. You can plug in an acoustic guitar, a violin, anything like that. It's more of a portable audio workstation. It's more of a portable mixer workstation, all-round device that also does electric guitar stuff. Now, it doesn't do enough stuff for me to replace my Voice Live 3 Extreme. I hope one day it may do, but I don't think like that anymore. I always get let down when I think like that. So, I primarily use it for my electric guitar because I'm in an apartment. I can't play loud. I do have an amp. I can't really use it very much. I usually play at night. When I play at night, I play a lot of electric guitar because the neighbors can't hear it. I still worry about the neighbors hearing the electric guitar strings next door. So that's why I play a lot of electric guitar at night. And I just love the form factor. If I do get a band gig, I keep thinking I could run a 3-piece band off the Quad Cortex, which would be great. Very portable. I'm all about being portable, as you may know if you watch the channel. But I also think the sounds are very good. I've owned all the modelers multiple times, bought and sold them. I'm very content, let's say content, with the Quad Cortex. But there has been a lot of drama around it, and I think Neural DSP have got away with it because no one else has done much in that time. Tone X has come along, but it's not a multi-effects unit, it's just amp captures. Quad Cortex does models and captures, and they've just announced today they've got a new way of capturing amps, which is very exciting. You can look that up on their website later. And they did promise, or they did mention, I shouldn't say promise, they mentioned when they announced this thing that it would run their plugins, and a lot of people like the Neural DSP plugins. And today with this release basically is adding that promise, and it's not adding all of them. There's access to 2 plugins. 2 or 3 others are almost ready to go in the coming weeks and months. And then over the next 12 months, I'm guessing, I don't know the dates, but over the next year or so, or hopefully sooner, they'll add access to all of their plugins on the Quad Cortex. And that's really what this release is about. I'm glad the release is out because now maybe they can focus on other stuff. Now they've done this part, they've got their editor, they've got their plugins running on the Quad Cortex. They've got the system running well. You know, it's stable. So maybe now they can start to add more interesting synths, vocal effects, guitar effects, and really push this thing in a new direction, not just another way to amplify the electric guitar. Like I always joke every week, there's a new way to amplify your electric guitar. So my initial thought on this update, looking at the release notes, is it's a bit, dare I say, it's a bit boring. Like it's just fulfilling what they needed to do, and they spent a lot of time on this. Part of me wishes they would do other stuff. That sounds very ungrateful, I know. But at least, looking on the positive side, at least it is now in the position I think it should have been in basically at launch. You've got your editor, you've got your plugin starting to work on it, you've got your meat and potatoes effects, right? So I think they're in a really good position now. And like I said, no one else is doing that much. There's no Kemper 2, there's no Helix 2, etc. So let's get on to the update. If you've tried it, let me know in the chat what you think about it, anything that you particularly like. I'm going to just read through the release notes before I show you the update. So added plugin compatibility. Devices from compatible X plugins can now be loaded. So if the plugin has an X version, that means it will work with Cortex once they update the Quad Cortex to also work with it. That's why there's only 2 right now that are actually compatible. I have them both, so I'll show them both now. Side chaining has been added. I find some of this stuff a bit confusing, and I think a lot of this has been added for the plugin support. And I don't really know how it's going to benefit me yet, but you can sidechain effects the same way you can sidechain effects in a DAW, but you can't sidechain everything. It's the doubler, the blend, the gate, the compressor, and the envelope filter. That's it. Custom folders. That's good. So now when you're organizing IRs and things on the Quad Cortex, you can make like subfolders to help with organization. That's a good quality of life improvement. Bulk actions, same thing. If you've got 100 IRs, you can delete them all and copy them all at once. Again, just housekeeping stuff with that. This is a new one that I hadn't seen before. Dynamic latency compensation. A dynamic latency compensation option is in Settings, Device Options. Disabling this may help if phasing occurs when bypassing a device on the grid. I've not run into that, but again, quality of life improvement. And also internet check. A lot of people complain about the Wi-Fi in the Quad Cortex. I'm in a small place with a really good router, so I've not had many complaints about it, but some people say it's hard to get a connection. I imagine if they make another Quad Cortex in the future, they'll put a stronger chip in there, which would be good, because it's nice having Wi-Fi in the unit. So they've added an internet check option to settings connection that when disabled prevents Quad Cortex from verifying it has active internet connection. This is helpful to users in certain geographical regions or network environments where Quad Cortex was incorrectly reporting an inactive internet connection. I think I've had that. It says it's not, when you first turn it on sometimes, it says it's not connected, and I guess it is. So that's good they've added that. New devices, Gojira X, you have to own the plugin, and Pliny X, you have to own the plugin. They are giving all users a free plugin of their choice when they upgrade to 3.0, as long as you upgrade to 3.0 before the end of August. So you need to install this update ASAP, and then a free gift will appear on their website in your account. It'll just appear in there, and you can select the one you want. It can be any one. It doesn't have to be one that's an X or that's currently available. The first 2 I just mentioned. Doesn't have to be those. You can choose any plugin, use it on your computer, and then once the X version is out and the update for the Quad Cortex is out to make it talk to it, it will appear in your Quad Cortex. So you can either choose the Pliny or the Gojira to try them today, or you can pick the one that you want. I love the Mesa Boogie ones. I can't wait for that to be available. But there's not even an X version of that yet. But once there is, I can't. That's going to be awesome, because that sounds really good, and that's my kind of amplifier. So we've got a new gate, a doubler. The doubler is very cool. Plug-in blend, plug-in doubler, plug-in gate. So these are all really things to finish off the plug-in compatibility. There's not much here that isn't to do with the plugins. There is a pitch correct, which you can use for vocals, and I will be making a separate video on that in the future. And there's a new kind of delay as well. So there's a couple of free things, and there's those quality of life improvements. But like I said, the main focus here is on the plugin compatibility. There's also more MIDI options. It's still not a full MIDI controller the way the Helix is, but it's getting closer. So that's good. There's some bug fixes, which is always a good thing. So even if you're not interested in the plugins, you should, and you've got a Quad Cortex, you should install this simply for the bug fixes, the quality of life improvements, and the fact you get a free plugin, which is a $100 value or more, right? So I think that's cool. I'll just say there, the cynical side of me thinks, I mean, they have promised the freebie in the past to Quad Cortex users, and the cynical side of me is going to say they're trying to get us in their ecosystem. One thing to think about and realize with this update, and I hate being negative, but I've been thinking about it, so I'm going to say it. This update is to get us to use plugins on our Quad Cortex that you buy from Neural DSP. So in the days of the Helix, all the updates were free, and they added amps, effects, every update. This update does add free stuff, a new delay, blend, the doubler. There is the new quality of life improvements, but it also is opening the gateway to you buying their plugins. And if you buy all their plugins at full price, you're looking at well over $1,000. So, I mean, it's just the way it is, right? You don't have to buy them. You can demo them on the computer. So if you have a computer set up, you should demo them all and see which ones you would actually like to have on your Quad Cortex to carry around with you. I think they should offer the demos on the Quad Cortex. And I see myself using the plugins more now on the Quad Cortex than the computer. I rarely plugged into the computer. The computer plugins look great. They're all graphical. They look really nice, but I never use them. I like them, but I just don't use them. I always plug into the Quad Cortex and just use that. So I think they will sell a lot. Hey, I hope they do, and I hope they use that money to make the Quad Cortex other stuff even better. So we'll see. Only time will tell with that kind of stuff, right? Okay, so let's jump over. And let me know if there's anything specifically you want me to check out here and react to. And if you've tried anything as well, let me know. So desktop here, desktop solo. Okay. So this editor has been out for a few months, and for me, the editor is the best thing they did. This editor is really, really important. Every floor pedal, even the ones that are easy to use, the Quad Cortex is probably the easiest unit to use with the touchscreen. But who wants to be bending down at a gig and using the touchscreen? We want to use the editor. Well, I do. And I still want an editor on the phone. Like the Tone Master Pro just got an editor on the phone and the iPad wirelessly. I really want this to work wirelessly. I've got a feeling we might have to wait for the Quad Cortex 2 or the Quad Cortex HD to get the improved Wi-Fi and the mobile editor. And I actually think that those two things alone would make it a worthwhile upgrade. Some people won't agree with me on that. And I'm not saying that stuff shouldn't be in the current unit. It should. But those things are just very, very important, I think. But at least we have a desktop editor, which makes things a lot faster. Like if you're moving your stuff around and labeling things, it's a lot easier on the computer, even over the touchscreen on the unit itself. And it looks really nice. It's quite a different interface to the Quad Cortex. I actually think it's possibly better. So that's a funny thing. I don't use the plugins on the computer. I use the Quad Cortex, but I use the desktop editor on the computer to control the Quad Cortex. Oh dear. All right. So they've labeled the things that are new. Everything is organized by category, as it always was. So your amps are here. Your neural captures, like your profiles, are here. Your cab is here. Overdrive, delay, reverb, compressor, pitch effects, modulation effects, morph effects, filter effects, EQ effects, IR loader, wah-wah, effects loop, looper, and utility. If there's something new in there, they've labeled it as new. That's really cool. I like the fact they've done that. It all helps for sure. Anything that doesn't say new is because I've clicked on it already, so that's my fault. But plugins obviously is new. So in the old days, I'd go to amp right here. I'd choose an amp from the list, and there's quite a lot on there. To be fair, a lot of the amps on here are basically will do what the plugins do. You don't need to buy the plugins, and that's a good thing. And then you always have to add a cab as well. So I'd go to the cab block here, choose one of these. You must have an amp and a cab if you're plugging straight into a PA system, or it's going to sound wacky. You can not have a cab if you're going into a power amp, like a Seymour Duncan power stage. You don't need the cab. If you're going into the Fender FR cab, you do need a cab because that's a full-range speaker and not a guitar cab. Although, of course, you can try not using one. Sometimes people try things outside the box and like it. So I'm going to go to plugins. So the great thing now is your plugins pop up here. You click on refresh, and it will go into your account basically and load them in here. So I've got these two plugins. I've got Gojira X and is it Pliny X? I've got those. I don't know how you say it, but I've got those two plugins. I own them, right? So they appear in my list. So I'll do Pliny, and these are all the blocks from the plugin. So you don't get the graphics. I don't think that really matters. You get the interface of the Quad Cortex, which makes a lot more sense. And it uses less DSP. If they had the fancy graphics on the Quad Cortex screen, they're just going to kill the DSP. What's the point of that? So we need the most DSP we can get. If you look on the screen, you can see it says CPUs at 6%. I haven't done anything yet. So we want all the DSP we can get our hands on. So I'll choose the clean. There we go. And you can see that it's the Pliny because it's got PLI at the top. So like I said, if you play that without a cab, it's going to sound horrible. Clean is okay. If you try and play distortion without a cab, that sounds really, really a bit like my mic at the start of this video. So you have to add a cab. So I'll do plugins again. And I'll do the Pliny cab in stereo. Because I'm in stereo today. Just check. Yes, I am. And I'll mute the mic. I'll play a little bit. And I'll mess around with the amp controls and see what it sounds like. Spoiler alert. I've played in preparation for this coming out. I was playing this the other week. And I really like the 3 amp sounds on this plugin. And I was actually thinking I could do a gig just with those 3 sounds. So let's see what this clean sounds like. I may have to add a reverb as well. I'll add everything from the plugin. It's a pretty generic clean sound. It's probably not the clean I would use. It sounds like it might be a good pedal platform clean sound because it's not overly bright and it's pretty neutral. Let me just add a reverb here. I'll do the same thing from plugins. Reverb. Okay, I'll just mess with this a little bit as well. I feel like I want more sparkle from this clean sound. So I feel like this is the clean sound that I should use. Because I think I often put too much spark. I like really sparkly, super clean amps. Because I come from an acoustic background. I think that's what I look for. But I think this would make more sense for me. Because I bet if I put a drive pedal in front of it, it will take it better. So this is like the clean I should use. So I'm on the fence still. But I could add more presence. I could add more treble. I could even add an EQ block at the end and compensate that way. In fact, I often think that with these amp modelers, if you put a really good EQ block at the end of any amp model, you can probably dial it in to sound like anything because EQ is that powerful. EQ is really important. So yeah, I like that. You know what I do like about this is I kind of like the fact that I'm not getting so much option paralysis. Because if I decide to just make a preset from this plugin, all I have is my clean amp, crunch amp, lead amp, mono cab, stereo cab, a drive, which is 2 drives in one, a delay, a mono delay, a reverb, a compressor, an octaver, and a chorus. So I don't get the multiple options. If I wanted to add a reverb from the actual quad Cortex itself, like the old way, I'd press on this add, go to reverb, and I usually did the plate lush. But you see there's all these different reverbs and all these settings here. So I could spend a lot of time just going through these, which is great because we want options. I'm not saying we don't. But if you do just want to make a preset and kind of not have, well, you do have the options because they're in this menu. But if you can manage to limit yourself to just using the plugin, I was just thinking this earlier, then it's a good way to kind of rein things in a little bit. You know what I mean? So like you've got a clean, a cab, and a reverb, and if you just stick with those and dial those in how you want, then it might be a good thing. You've still got the options of jumping to the other stuff. You can mix and match. I should have said that earlier. this isn't just using the plugin. I'm showing that now, but you can also go here and click add and go to anything else. So you could add a delay from the old delays here, the regular delays. So digital delay stereo right there, and there you go. So that's the amazing thing. Once all the plugins are available, you'll be able to combine them all together into one kind of super preset. And I think that's really cool. So yeah, let me just play that without the mic as well. Yeah, still not quite sparkly enough, but you see what I mean about mixing the blocks together. I really like that a lot. So let me try another one. I'm going to turn that delay off. And I want to try something high gain. I feel like these plugins they've released at launch are more high gain plugins. They have got some dedicated clean amp plugins that will come, like the Corey Wong and some other ones like that will come later. I kind of wish they were all available now, to be honest, but I guess they're going to do it slowly over time. Let me click on this and change it to the lead. Let's make sure I'm not going to blow up the headphones. Hang on. Whoa. All right, we'll bring this down. So there is some noise. These are noise as pickup. So the noise is from the amp, not the guitar. Yeah, so that noise, if you want to get rid of that, you can do a noise gate. It's pretty good, actually. I find a noise gate in here on the input block to save you a block. Even at 0, look, if I'm not touching the guitar right now. So if you're doing like an in-ear monitor gig with a band, and you just have that on at -36 and just don't touch the guitar, there's no noise. And then as soon as you start to play, and then stop. And what I really like on the editor that you don't get on the pedal is those meters. Like you see that yellow bar, that means that the noise gate is engaged right now. Once you play anything at that level, that means the noise gate is off. You can actually see it working. I really like, they say you shouldn't work with your eyes with music, but there are some things where that is nice. I can see right now, if I'm standing there on stage and I had this in front of me, I can see there's no signal coming through. So the sound engineer can't say to me, Aaron, your guitar's making some weird noise. No, it's not. I can see that the gate is on. And then if I play something, now I can see the gate is off. So I know, and I can hear it too. That hiss coming through is from the amp, not from the guitar. Yeah. So as I thought, I like the heavy stuff on here more than the clean. But the great thing is I can either take a clean from the regular amp models in the quad Cortex, and there's some really good ones, or I can just use a capture of a clean that I've captured or someone else has captured or of my amp. So limitless possibilities. But like I said, I kind of like the way this is laid out, because if I limit myself to a plugin and I happen to really like that plugin, maybe that's a good way to avoid that stuff. I don't know. Let me see what else is here. So that's new. So I really want to try the doubler. I don't know where it is. Filter, a new filter. Envelope filter, that's new. Okay. There we go. So it's got a yellow dot to show that it's new. All right. I'm going to put the mic, when I put the mic up, it means it's muted, so you don't hear the strings of the guitar coming through. Randy says, I like to treat my signal before going into the device. What do you mean? There's not much you can do, because the guitar is going into the pedal. Oh, do you mean like EQ? Well, you can put the EQ anywhere. You can put the EQ at the start. You could even have an EQ at the start and at the end. And there's a global EQ. So you could always have that. You could have you have as many EQs anywhere in the chain as you want. I think that's a good thing. Many people will think that's too much. They want to just plug in and choose an amp and go. And you can do that too. I'm a bit fussier because I want a clean, a crunch, and a lead sound. If you just want a lead sound, then... Yeah, so yeah, that sound I'm fine with. I think for a clean sound, I would want to go in with an EQ and really sculpt that, because I'm just very particular what I want from that. John says, "Where's he get all these marvelous toys?" It's not a toy, John. I'm a professional musician. I need this for my gigs. Yeah, and this is the only modeler I have now. I am conscious these days of like telling people to buy stuff, and I'm never telling anyone to buy anything. I like to recommend stuff that I use to make money to pay my bills. So that's why I always talk about the Cole Clarks, because I use them at gigs. I've been raving lately about the Voice Live 3 Extreme, probably too much, because that's what I really use to pay the bills. That is my main rig. If I got called for a band gig tomorrow, and it does happen occasionally throughout the year for me, this is what I would take, and I would just go straight into PA. I would take my PA speaker with me as a monitor. I've tried to do band gigs with real amps before. The big wedding bands that have 10 musicians in, you end up, even with a huge 50-pound, 50-watt amp, you end up not hearing it. It's a waste of time. With something like this, into a high-powered PA speaker next to you, you can really, it won't break up. The sound you dial in at any level will be the same. It'll be consistent. And my dream over the next 12 months is to do a band gig with in-ear monitors, because I now use in-ear monitors at my solo shows, and it's been, dare I say, a game changer. And I think it would be for this as well, because imagine if everything was in these headphones. Like right now, I'm running ping pong delay in stereo, and I'm running that doubler. I mean, check out this doubler. If I play for a bit and turn it off, you really hear the difference. I mean, you need to wear headphones as well, to be fair, or at least have a good stereo system to listen to. If you're listening on your phone right now, everything will just sound the same. But if I play with the doubler, and if I turn it off, if you've got headphones on, it's such a subtle and yet massive difference. And if you had the drums in stereo in your in-ears, and the bass player and the singers and the stereo effects, it would just be amazing. And then you still get some feeling of the air moving from the speakers in the room. And I just think that'd be incredible. And then the load in and load out would be so easy. This pedal is, 5 pounds in weight, and it's everything. It's the amp, the cab, the reverb, the delay, the pedals, all that stuff in this little box. You get in and get out in 10 minutes. That's so important. When I do a band gig and I provide a PA, it takes me about an hour to pack, just to pack away. When I do a solo acoustic gig, it takes me 10 minutes to pack away. So I'm going to mute the mic and just play a bit, and then you'll see it on the screen. So I'll play with the doubler on. This is a new effect on 3.0, and then I'll turn it off. And like I said about side chaining earlier, you can choose where it enters the chain. This is pretty cool. This is something that other modelers don't do, I don't think, but I'll just leave it regular for now, so it's at the end of the chain. So on, and then you'll see me turn it off, and you'll hear the difference. I'm not going to say the doubler is better. It's just different. Like when you take it away, the sound is straight down the middle, which you might want. So it's not. I'm not saying that it's an improvement. All these effects are just effects. That's all they are. Randy says a slight. Oh, hang on. Slight overdrive or compression. Slight for pre-shaping. I'm a Strat player. Helps to tweak your tone. Yeah, you know, a lot of people run an analog drive pedal into a modeler, and I've done that, and it is cool. What you're doing is you're pushing the front end. You've got that analog input, you know, analog front end, and you're pushing it and adding a bit of that analog warmth. It is a thing. I've tried it, but for me, then it's just another thing to take. So I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. So that the doubler is very, very cool. I know some people are saying it could have more parameters to control it, but let me jump to another one. I'm only going to be here for a little bit longer. So back to plugins, and I'm going to change this to the Gojira clean. Good. And by the way, this editor used to crash months ago. It doesn't seem to be crashing, so that's a good thing. They do seem to have taken their time with this update, which is a good thing. So again, I'm just not getting that sparkle from these amps. Let me see. And there's no presence on this one. Oh, it's pretty bright. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, there's a bright switch. Okay. I prefer that clean of the two. Let me check out here the pitch effect. I really want to try this on vocals. So there is a new block. There's now the transpose, and also I can't see it. There's two ways to transpose the key now, and I don't think the new way, from what I'm reading on the forums, is perfect. But you can do things like this. So if I turn this knob down, the guitar will transpose itself. I'm still playing the same chords, but it will transpose them. You can hear, again with headphones, you can hear how effective it is. It's not perfect. These things never are, but it's pretty good. Let's try it. I gotta say, that works really well. Usually the cleans don't do as well as the drive sounds. Going down in pitch is one thing, going up in pitch is harder. Let's see what happens with that. It's weird, isn't it? It's breaking up. I can hear like the artifacts. Not breaking up. It's not clipping or anything. There's digital artifacts. I don't hear them on the way down. I mean, people were saying earlier in one of the groups that the Kemper does this better. I don't think so. The Kemper does -1 really well, but this does -1 really well. So I would use that. That's as good as the Kemper was and is. It's not perfect. You'd never record with that. This is a tool. You would use that transpose block in for writing, practicing. Say you want to quickly play a Hendrix song. And by the way, Michael, how you doing? I gotta make that video, Michael, about that Chrome. Don't post it today. I want to make a video about it. That Chrome link. It's really useful. But let's say you don't have the ability to transpose your audio of the song you're learning. You can do it with this. And it's great for practice. It's great for writing. I would never record with it. I would retune the guitar to record that song at that pitch. And I would use it. I'd use it live. If we're going to play Little Wing live, or if there's a song we're going to do live, it's a bit too high for me. It's in E and I can't quite hit it. Then I would just turn this on, ask the band to play it a semitone lower. That's fine. It works. The band's playing. You won't be hearing the little nuances, and that actually sounds really good anyway. There's a bit of latency, of course, because it's having to figure out what you're doing and changing the pitch and then spitting it out again. But I mean, that works as well as any of the ones I've tried. Some people say the Digitech Drop is better. I haven't tried it. I'd like to try that one day. But I hope they continue to improve it. But I mean, it's perfectly usable. One thing about these pitch effects on these modelers is they don't work well with acoustic. They're really voiced for electric guitars. So bear that in mind. But yeah, I mean, I think that sounds great. The pitch correction is the brand new one that I'm most interested in. Look at this. This is very interesting. You have the root note and the mode, so major, minor, etc. Chromatic. So I would just do chromatic. So that's every note you play, every single note, it's going to push into tune. So this is going to be really good for a singer. Well, especially if the singer doesn't sing tune. But you can change the frequency of the A note, so 440 hertz, that's standard tuning. Quantize and glissando is for how fast it corrects the note. So you can either sound like Cher in that song Believe, or you can make it more natural. There's a high pass and a low pass and the output. So this looks pretty promising. Let's try it with guitar, although I'm mostly interested in trying it with vocals, and I'll do that in a separate video. I'm not warmed up to sing. I'm just kidding. I'm just not plugged in to sing today. So let's try this. So do you hear that? Do you believe in life after love, right? Now, how long is it going to be until someone releases a song with this effect on their electric guitar? because Cher did it with her song Believe. When's someone going to do a solo on their guitar? You know, maybe this is a new sound that we could invent. But you can reduce that. You can bring this down. You can bring this up. I think maybe 50-50. Let's see. There we go. Let me turn the mic off. I'm a bit confused because one thing I love on this editor is the tuner. If you look at the bottom, the tuner is in real time. You see that bottom left of the screen? When it goes white, that's perfectly in tune. Which I love, and I wish that was on the pedal itself. I'm really glad it's on. This is why another reason I use the editor at home, because I can see where I'm at. One thing I'm confused about with this is when I bend the note and it puts it into tune, is that tuner before this block or after? I think that tuner is probably at the start of the chain, and this is probably after it. So to really see what's happening with this, you have to plug in another strobe tuner after the quad Cortex. I think this might be a separate video, but anyway, this isn't for guitarists that can't bend in tune. This is for, I think this is for singers, really. I really want to try this with a song. And I have a plan to compare this to the Voice Live 3 pitch correction. I'm going to record a song slightly flat, which won't be hard to do. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to record a song slightly out of tune and then play the two separate tracks of the guitar and the voice through both the Voice Live 3 Extreme and through this and see which one corrects the pitch better, or at least post the results. So watch out for that and subscribe if you haven't. By the way, this is mono. This is not polyphonic. So you can't play a chord. That's not going to work. That's not the point of this. I want to get back to that. Yeah, so this would be the Cher effect. Glissando all the way down, quantize all the way up. So it's going to quickly correct that note. And if you try and play a chord, it's not going to work because it's not polyphonic, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, you can hear it. I kind of like it. I'm tempted to actually use it on something. Right, wonderful tonight. It's interesting when you're practicing. I know this is all stupid stuff, but like to hear the notes step up as you bend, it's almost like playing a piano instead of a guitar. Because on the guitar, the whole point of bending is that smooth transition between the pitches, right? But when you have this turned on, so funny. But I think they've done a good job with this. This is a demo, by the way. This is not, there's nothing musical about this. As is often the case with me. But no, I was musical last night. This is very well done. I can't wait to try this on vocals. I really hope if Neural ever listen to me, I've said this since the beginning, I really hope they do more vocal stuff. With all this pitch algorithm, all these pitch algorithms and things in the quad Cortex now, they could easily do intelligent vocal harmonies. And it still wouldn't replace the Voice Live 3 Extreme. I would still need the Voice Live 3 Extreme for its other features, in-ear monitoring mix. There's lots of little things in there that I rely on, but it would just be one step closer. And it would, if you're doing a band gig and using this for the whole band, if you could use it for the harmonies, if the other members don't sing, that would just be a nice little thing to have. So I do hope we see more specialized stuff in the future. Or in a new unit. I'm not against them bringing out a new unit in 5 years' time with that kind of stuff in. So that is a very cool addition, and that's a free, that's included in the update. That's not a plugin thing. So yeah, very cool. Then there's a new delay. Let me just try that. Circular delay. And by the way, I've just realized this. On the input block, if you do the noise reduction, I've always had that up about the standard 40%. And I hate that because the note dies. Another reason I love the editor, that you can actually see the note dying. Check it out. It's really good to see what's happening. So you can see that bar, that gate kicking in real time. I never even thought before today to turn that to 0. I thought that'd be off, but it's not. It's just negative 36, which means that it kicks in very late. It means that it's actually very useful if you're using an in-ear monitor rig. If your hand is over the strings of the guitar, like I am now, look, it's completely gone. There's no noise. So in between songs, on those when the people are talking on the mic, on their headphones, this is important. Noise is a problem with in-ear monitors because if there's noise from your guitar, the singer's going to hear that noise while they're talking to the audience, right? All that buzzing. This is a quiet guitar, and this is a digital modeler. Imagine if you used a real analog amp and a loud, noisy guitar like Michael has. It would be crazy. The singer would just hear all that noise, isn't that right? Am I wrong? So with this is a really nice little quality of life thing because with noiseless pickups or humbuckers and with the gain reduction at 0%, when you put your hand on the strings between songs, look, it's completely silent. The guitar is on right now. You can't hear any noise, right? If I turn that off, listen to that. How annoying would that be at a gig? That would be coming through the PA. That would be in everyone's headphones. It's annoying. And that's from a quiet guitar in a digital modeler. So I never thought about this before. If I'm going to start using that all the time now. Turn on the input gate on the input block, but turn it to 0. And then it doesn't, when you're playing, it barely affects you. I mean, if I play really soft, look, it starts to come up, but no one plays that soft. Everyone plays. Everyone plays like that, right? That kind of volume. So stop playing, hold the strings, turns on. Very good, very good. Very cool. And you can also turn the volume off on your guitar, of course, as well. But that'd be too easy. All right. And if I do that, it's still noise. Like, even if I turn the guitar to 0, there's noise. But with that noise gate on and the guitar at 0, it's completely silent. Very cool. I just discovered that today. Michael said, Rage Against the Machine uses Digitech whammy pedal for... Yeah, so you can plug an expression pedal to this and do those things. And I think they work well, from what I've been told. It's just very hard. Think about what the transposer is doing. It's listening to the electric guitar, all the strings, transposing it, and then playing it. It's pretty miraculous they can do it at all. But I'm sure it will just keep getting better. That's the weakest thing for me so far. It does still have the artifacts in there, unfortunately. So, let's see if there's anything else. I think, it's basically what I thought it would be. We've got... the plugins, I think they've done the plugins really well. The way they've put it here at the top, you click on it and the plugins you own just show up here in the list. I'm just so excited now to get my Mesa Boogie one in there. I love that one. I can't wait for that to be there. I could probably use that by itself. So again, talking about option paralysis, the Mesa one there, I could probably just use that going forward. I like that. I like limiting myself with this digital stuff sometimes. But I also like the fact on the Quad Cortex, you can also have a preset with captures, models, plugins, all in one place. They really are going for this sort of open world thing, but the way they're laying it out, you don't have to get overwhelmed like you can do with some other modelers. So I think that's really cool. There's no new amps on this update. There are no new cabs, no drives. Yeah, it's that circular delay and the pitch effects. I probably missed something, so if I did, I apologize. Compressors that can be side chained. So again, you have that drop down block. You can put the way you want to insert it, right, where it enters the chain. That's pretty cool. I'm glad they've added that, but I don't know if I'll ever use it. The pitch I showed you. There is a whammy. If you plug in an expression pedal, you can use the whammy effect. No new choruses. No new morph. No update to the looper as far as I know. There's a new envelope filter. Which I don't think I've ever used in my life. Let me see. That reminds me of John Mayer somehow. Sounds good. I never used that effect, so I have to look into that. But yeah. What's John saying? Hey, John. You can try out the side chaining for an even clearer gating. Okay. And the transparent plugin blends to do parallel stuff within just one row. Yeah. Yeah. And with doing the acoustic stuff, I've been running the 2 pads. So I'll just show people how to do that. So when I have an acoustic IR to get the blend, I'll pull that down into the second lane like this. And then you get the mixer here, which you can change with these options here at the bottom right. So say that's an IR down there or a reverb, delay, whatever you want to blend it in parallel. You can do this and you can move the start and end point wherever you want, see? And then the great thing is, so it's super simple. I love it. Like you can adjust the balance here and that will adjust the amount that's going through each lane then. So it's coming in, one amp, if you have it in the right place, one sound will go right through the top lane, and then it will come down here and go through the second lane, and then join back at the top and go through the multi-out. And you can assign that however you want to. And that's a great way to have like the blend effects in. I kind of wish every effect had a mix knob to do that on the block without having to do this lane thing, but they don't. I know that some modelers do have that. But John is saying you can try out the side chaining for an even clearer gating and the transparent plugin blends. Okay, yeah, I'm not quite sure how they work yet. Let me just see. Let me just mess with that for a second. So add. I've got to find it. I did see it before. Transparent blend. Okay. Source. Yeah, I don't know how that would work. Let me see. That's my reverb there. Here we go. So you can pick where, so either that would be where the guitar comes in, like input 1 would then go to that. Or I guess you can say, I want the reverb to be there. So you see on the screen what's happening? It's going straight from the reverb into that blend at the end. It's bypassing the other two. I can't really get my head around how I'd use that. I was kind of hoping that would be in each block, and you could just go to a block and say, right, there's a mix, and you can blend in the original signal. I know some modelers do that. It's going to take me a little while to get my head around using the side chaining, but I will just try it quickly. What I'll do is I'll put in rather than the noise gate at the start, I'll add a noise gate here. And this will probably be the last thing that I do, because I won't be here all day. Adaptive gates or plugin gates. That's the other thing now. There's a lot of different versions. There's like the plugin gate, the adaptive gate. There's multiple ways there, multiple options of the kind of the same thing. So basically, if I turn this, if I say source off and turn this off, let's see. On this one, you don't get to see the graphic. I do like seeing the graphic of when it's kicking in, but you can hear it. Right now it's engaged. When the hiss is back, it means that it's not working anymore. It's open. Okay, so what happens if I turn this on and select... Oh, I see, there's a blend now. Okay. But you can't add this to anything. Like, I was hoping you could add this to an IR or a distortion. and then use this to blend them in. You still have to use the lanes for that. There's only certain effects it works on, but it does work on the plug-in gate. There we go. So the gate is going to there. So now that's going from there to there. Ah, interesting. So that's on. No, that's on. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Because, look, without the blend, there's, as soon as you touch the strings, there's some noise. With the blend, at 100%, it's more, is it more effective? I really don't know what I'm doing yet with that. I need to, it's my first day with this, but. That is more effective, but what's it actually doing is my question. Oh, it's bypassing the amp, isn't it, when I do that? Yeah, there's no amp block. Anyway, I'm using that completely wrong, but yeah, I've got to get my head around that. And I saw the videos that Neural posted too. I honestly just didn't really understand that either. I got to get my head around this, and it doesn't work with all of the blocks, only some of them. So I'm not really sure if I'd even use this, to be honest. But it's there, and that can be only be a good thing, of course. But I still like the input gate version. There's so many ways to do stuff on here. I still like this one because it shows you what's happening. I really want all the blocks to have that. I kind of wish they all had the blend, the mix control, and the meters. Same with the what do you call it? Compressors. Like if you go to compressor, you see it shows you the gain reduction. I really like that. So yeah, so you see that yellow line? Of course, you can hear what's happening in the headphones, and you always should be able to hear what's happening. You shouldn't rely on your eyes. I do agree with that, but it is nice sometimes seeing what's happening. I think that's the whole point of these modelers for me. Yeah. So anyway, I'll look into that, and I might if I have a big realization moment of how to use this stuff in a certain way that's amazing, I'll just make a dedicated video on that. But for me, to summarize here, I love the way they've integrated it. They've thought this out really well. Everything's very easy to see and use. Everything makes a lot of sense. These first plugins are great. They're not even the plugins that I would normally use, but they kind of do everything that I need them to do even right now. I hope the other ones follow soon. And I hope once they're all in here that Neural then go on to make the platform even more advanced. It has been a bit slow, and it could definitely move faster. And I hope it does. And I hope now they've got to this point, they've got the editor, they've got the plugins figured out, the compatibility integration figured out, and now they can think, right, how can we really take this to the next level? How can we really make this even better? I mean, for me, the form factor, the sound of the core amps and the effects is the most important thing, and the ease of use. And they do have that now. Don't get me wrong. That's why I own one. That's why this is what I use for my shows. But what can they do to do something brand new? Because all these devices, like I say every week, we get a new device every week to amplify an electric guitar, and they are basically the same. They're just recreating amps and effects, reverbs, delays, amps. What can they do with this technology? The computer editor, the processors, or the inputs and outputs. What can they do to actually take the guitar forward? That's my question, and that will happen in another video. So thanks for watching. I wanted to react to this live, and that's exactly what I did. If you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. If you're interested in Quad Cortex content, I'll have more. This is what I'm decided to stick with for the time being. So there'll definitely be more videos on this. I'll definitely do some research into singing and acoustic guitar with this for anyone that's interested. And yeah, good job, Neural DSP. You've got to remember, these updates are free. You buy the pedal as it is a day of launch. You don't buy a pedal for future promises. We've learned that the hard way, not just from this, but from other pedals recently. I won't name as well. But it's a great product. I love it. I love the core sounds of it. And every update does make it that little bit better. And if you're into their plugins, this makes it huge. Don't forget to update yours if you own one. Don't forget to grab your free plugin if you own one. You should probably grab one of these too. They're very good. They got some great stuff in there. Or you can wait for one of the future ones. Like the SLO should be out very soon. That's almost done as far as I know. So you could just wait for that one and then get the free one for that. So yeah, I'm excited. It's definitely, it's been slow, but every update Neural do is very well done. They do get things right as they do them. I will give them that for sure. I just want to see a bit more speed and a bit more innovation. But don't we always want those things? So thanks for joining me. If you're new here, subscribe and ring the bell. Take care and be well. If you got this, go and update yours and let me know next week on the live stream what you think of it. If you want to check these out, I've got my affiliate link in the chat and in the description below. You can go through to Sweetwater. They have a return policy. This is a great time to try one. You can buy one from Sweetwater, install this latest update, and then test it out for 30 days. See if it suits your needs. Definitely, if you're into electric guitar, I think this thing is definitely worth checking out. All right. Take care and be well. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Six string today, vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Oh man, goddamn, bought another six string today, vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing